Hello, everybody. My name is Mariana Polishuk, and I'm a pediatric speech language pathologist. I work in a private practice, and I see children with a variety of diagnoses, but the most common would be autism spectrum disorder. One of my specialty areas is AAC, and many of the clients that I see within our practice are clients who have certain devices that allow them to communicate, or they have apps on the iPad that allow them to communicate, or we give them low-tech boards like these to support their communication. So this is a topic that I'm very passionate about, and I'm excited to share how to be a rocking AAC communication partner. And this is a presentation for ISHA 2020. So I hope you enjoy, and let's go through our objectives. Today, I'm going to be talking about, well, what makes a good AAC communication partner? Well, first of all, we really have to know what does AAC stands for. So AAC stands for Augmentative and Alternative Communication. Well, what does that mean? Augment means to support. We are supporting clients' communication by teaching them words. That could be showing them a picture of the action that we want them to do. That means showing our facial expressions, using gestures, anything that you use to support communication so that is clear. Alternative means you're giving that client or that student or that child another way to communicate, whether it be using, and again, pictures of real things. So maybe they can hand mom a picture of apple when they want to get a piece of apple for breakfast, or having a full-on device that has the voice output. It means it helps the client learn either how to speak full sentences or fully speak for the client who have significant challenges and are not able to use verbal speech. So a big part of my job is to figure out which AAC is appropriate for the clients that I work with, and also how to teach communication partners how to communicate with clients, because we don't walk around talking on our iPad. That is not the natural way that we communicate, but we can teach our communication partners how to make it more natural and to work on many different communication skills using different AAC supports, whether they are low tech like paper or a picture, or whether they are high tech like an iPad or a dedicated device. I'm also going to be talking about how to expand language beyond the I want phrase. And I think many therapists talk about this topic because we really want to allow natural communication to occur. And we want to work on a variety of different functions of communications, not just requesting. So to expand language, we're going to talk about different strategies. What strategies do I use to improve AAC implementation? How to go from one word to two words, and how to build child's communication so that they can have a conversation and so that they can interact and let us know what they want and need. The last two things I'm going to talk about is I will share different strategies of how we set up social groups for AAC users. That is very, very important to do. It's very important to talk about, to address social interaction when we are working with our clients and allow them to use their AAC to communicate with other peers and family members and everyone who's in their environment. And then I'll talk about how I train communication partners within the clinic, or if I'm consulting a family, or if I'm helping someone out. So let's dive in and learn more about AAC and communication. So what makes a good communication partner? Well, the first step into being a good communication partner is to learn what is the vocabulary that the child has. Is it a device that is used only for communication? Is it an iPad that has a communication app loaded, such as Saltillo, Speak for Yourself, or Prologo to Go? We have to find out what is the specific vocabulary that the client is using, and then we need to learn it, because it's like if I give you a new cell phone and I mess up all the letters on your cell phone, it'll be really hard for you to quickly text a message. So think of it as the same way as when a client gets an iPad. All these words are organized. He gets exposed to all these words organized in a new way. It takes clients many opportunities and practice to learn where the words are located so they can find them and communicate to us. So we need to learn where the words are so that when we are teaching the clients, we are much quicker, we are smoother, and we know when to find the word quickly, so we will then teach it with more practice and more opportunities. So start by learning what device the client is using, where are the specific vocabulary that you are teaching, where is it in the folder. And a good tip is many of the applications or the apps that I use have a little button that says find a word. And that button will teach you where that word is located on the iPad. So many of the communication apps do have that option. So use that because it's there to help you learn where the different words are. And of course, after you know where the vocabulary is, we need to practice. Practice using the device as if it's your voice. Go home, take it, and try to have a conversation with your significant other, someone else, to practice communicating using the device. Because if we're working with clients who are only who are using AAC, so a dedicated device to communicate, it's their voice output. We want to match, we want to speak the client's language, because that will help that natural communication to occur. Well, I have a device, and so does Mariana. Oh, I'm learning how to say hello on my device, and Mariana's saying hello on my device. So it makes that communication, I think, more meaningful and more natural because we're communicating using their language. That's just something to keep in mind when we're working with our clients. So after you learn the vocabulary and after you've had a chance to practice with someone, then we're going to hop in and we're going to model. We're going to teach the words that we want that client to use. And we want to match the client's current language skills. We want to model just one or two words above their language skills or match their language skills, but not go way beyond, because then it might be difficult for them to comprehend the longer sentences that we express. Whether we do it verbally or whether we do it on the device, we want to be 1 to 2 words more or above the client's level. So if the client is learning how to pair action and noun, so the client says something like eat cookie, I can model you eat cookie. So I can add a pronoun, that would be 1 word above, or I can add an adjective. So you eat chocolate cookie. I added an adjective and described the cookie. So I'm modeling to expand the sentence, but I'm not going to tell him, well, right now it's 12 o'clock and you are eating a chocolate chip cookie and drinking some milk. And that might be a little bit of a longer sentence. So match your client's current language skills and model at that level and just 1 or 2 words above. Another strategy is matching the client's rate of processing. Some of our clients need additional time where we wait for them to initiate the communication or to respond to our communication. So if we are reading a story and I'm asking the client a question about something that I read, it is important to allow a couple seconds, a little bit of additional time to allow the client to formulate the response and respond to you. Keep in mind that if the client had not had a lot of practice with back and forth communication, it will take a couple repetitions for the client to understand that you are expecting them to communicate something to you. And there are a lot of ways that we can indirectly cue the client, hey, I'm waiting for you to tell me something. So allow that time and match your client's rate of processing. Give that additional time, because if we keep on jumping and prompting again, or saying things like say it, touch it, read it, do it, then it doesn't allow that natural communication to happen. So it's okay to teach, but then we also want to, once we feel that the client has an understanding of that word, use that word in a functional way, in a natural communicative environment. So, and of course, after you've given that processing time, um, go in and either give additional support or go back and model, but really wait. If you've modeled that word several times, wait for the client to respond to you. Give that opportunity for that client to do something, because sometimes just waiting a little bit, that client will then initiate that communication, and you don't want to lose that teachable moment, because that's what it's all about. So slow down and wait, especially as you're learning the client, so that you can support them where they are. Allow many opportunities for the client to initiate communication, especially if you're working on greeting or requesting. So provide, think about how you can modify the environment, how you can bring in fun, enticing activities for them to do, so that they can initiate and say, hey, I want to do this with you. Hi, I'm excited to see you. Let's play this game. This is one of my favorites. So bring in things that are fun and allow clients to work on that initiation. So putting the iPad in front of them, putting their device in front of them, putting a visual or low tech in front of them, and holding it up, and waiting for them to communicate with us. And again, follow the child's lead, use things that they are interested in, and always make it fun and functional. So let's jump in. I'm going to hop in and put my camera on the bottom here, so I can see and you can see the text. So hopefully that will not interfere a bit. So let's touch base and talk about how to expand language beyond the I want phrase. Many of the clients that I work with come to the clinic, and when I ask the parents, how are their communication skills? They'll tell me, well, Mariana, they can tell me everything they want. They just tell me, I want, and they fill in the blank. And I say, oh, that's so great. Well, what are some other things you guys communicate? And the response that I get is, there's not much beyond. So I talk to parents and to other communication partners about the importance of not just sticking to requesting. Because if you think about your day and the different things that you have communicated throughout your day, I'm sure you've made lots of different comments, you asked questions, you shared information, you stated your opinion. And of course, you're always requesting different things, but that is not the only way that we communicate. So, to expand language beyond the I want phrase, follow your client's lead and find out what motivates them. Bring in activities to your session that will allow the client to be interested in what you have, and build that rapport, build that good relationship with the client, because that will motivate them to communicate with you. So be very calm, take things slow, and find out what are the most motivational activities to bring to the session. That is important when you're teaching AAC. So it has to be fun, and it has to be engaging for the client to be motivated to communicate with you, especially for our early communicators. Use the same communication mode that the client is using. So if the client has an app such as Touch Chat loaded on their iPad, it is very easy for you to get an access to that vocabulary. We have wonderful technology. Our iPads come with a function called AirDrop. You can AirDrop the vocabulary that the client is using to your iPad and model using the same vocabulary, the same application, and allow that natural communication to happen back and forth using the same language that the client is using. And that really really helps clients communicate with you. So give that a try and practice. And as you use the vocabulary, you are going to be a lot quicker, a lot more proficient, and it will allow you to expand language and model more descriptive and better sentences or phrases. Slow down, repeat, repeat, repeat. Before I expect a client to use their communication system, I try to model many, many times. Our clients need that repetition to truly understand the word and learn how to use it in their routines and in their day. And we really have to slow things down and practice with them over and over. If I'm teaching the client a word such as eat, I will try to model it in a lot of different routines. We can do it when we're having a snack. So I can have the client respond to me, "What do you want to eat?" I ask them a question. And if they're unable to respond to that question, I will give them choices. Do you want to eat banana or do you want to eat cookie? That is another way that they can communicate using the word eat. As they're eating their snack, I can model for them, "I really like to eat that." Or I can tell them, "Do you like to eat that?" So they can answer that question with a simpler yes and no. They can also ask me, "What are you eating?" As we're eating the snack, we can also talk about, "What did you eat yesterday with mom at dinner?" We can talk about, "What are some restaurants you like to go to eat?" We can pretend with different foods and feed different animals and say, "The bear likes to eat the apple." And those are just a couple examples of how you can teach that word in different functions and also using different activities and different materials to teach that word as well. So those are some ways of how to expand language beyond the "I want." So focus on that core vocabulary, and I'll jump and talk more about that. Use the same mode of communication that the client is using. Take things slow, learn the vocabulary, practice communicating with the device, and allow that repetition over and over and over. But wait, don't over prompt, and see how the client is starting to communicate with you. So what should we model? What should we teach the client? We should teach them core words. Well, what are core words? Think of it as the core in your body. The core in our body supports our spine, our back. It keeps us strong. If you have a strong core, you can do a lot more intense exercises. So think of it as the core in your body. It supports everything. And that's the same for our AAC users. The core vocabulary gives them the foundation that they need for their language to grow. Core vocabulary is comprised of the words that are used most commonly in the expressive communication. So we know that the English language has at least 250,000 words. We also know that a list of only 200 words accounts for 80% of the words that we use every day. All right, let's dive in. I'm going to pop myself up here and let's talk about what does that mean. So the 200 words that we need to teach our clients, if we give them that access to these core words, we know that we have given them the power of communication and we have given them the ability to say what they're thinking in almost any situation. So we know we teach those core words, we teach those foundational words that the clients need because they can use those words in any situation. If I am starting to teach clients nouns such as banana, and I teach the client 20 different nouns, 20 different things, which are great because then the client can request the banana that they want to eat. But what if there are no bananas this week? What happens if mom stops buying bananas? then you have no way to tell mom that you are hungry because you only know the word banana. So I focus on the action word. I focus on the word eat. And if we see over here, those are the words that we want to focus on because we can use them in a lot of different situations. Also keep in mind that those words are harder to teach, and we want to start with those. Nouns are a lot easier to teach. You can hold up a banana and the client really quickly will understand. If you're using the real pictures of a banana or an actual banana, the client really quickly will learn that word if that's their favorite snack. And they'll find a way to request it from you and get it from you. What is more difficult is to teach them the word eat and then use the word eat to pair it with the food that they're eating. So stick to the core words. Those are the words that we need to teach, and pair the core words with the fringe, with the nouns, and then build the language. If I'm modeling the word help, which is one of our core words, and it is one that I focus on quite a bit with my clients because everyone needs to be able to ask for help when they need it. So this is one that I focus on quite a bit. There's a reason I have a visual for it. If I'm teaching the word help, I try to use the visual. So either I'm using board maker visuals, or if I'm using the client's device, you could see the word help is on the front page. We know that that's an important word to teach. And you will see that word come up on the home pages of different devices. So that's an important word to focus on with your clients, but it's hard to teach it because you have to set up a scenario where the client can request help from you. So just a couple things that I do. I can have the client ask for help to open the door if they want to go to a different room. We can practice it that way. I can ask the client to say, help me, if they need help to cut out a craft that we are working on or opening a marker that they can't open. I can ask them to help get a toy that they are reaching for. I can ask them to turn on a toy that they like and want to either listen to its song. I can ask them to tell me, I need your help, Mariana help. So those are just a couple different varieties of using the word help, pairing it with other words around it to build a phrase or a sentence that's functional in that scenario, and also to model it with different functions. Or even responding to the question, do you need help? And the client saying, yeah, I do need help. Or help me, yeah. All right, so how to train communication partners. So this is something that I love doing because we, as speech language pathologists, we know a lot about AAC. So it is our job to be a good coach to other communication partners who are learning the system or need your support with strategies, how to teach that system and how to continue to challenge the client to grow their language. Let me see if I can get myself just a little higher. Okay, so let's hop into strategies. That's how we train communication partners. The first strategy is modeling. And you've heard me say it already several times throughout this presentation, so let's definitely talk about this one. Modeling means you point to the words on the augmentative alternative communication system as you speak the word. Modeling is evidence-based, and it is the most valuable strategy that communication partners can use. It is also called aided language stimulation. So how does it look like? You take your client's device. This is an iPad with an application called Touch Chat, and it has a vocabulary of a lot of different words. This is I use this vocabulary for clients who can read because as you can see, it has the letters and you can spell. So this is a really good one for clients who can type out words quickly and have that skill to read and know their letters. So I am going to model how I start a session. I'm going to navigate and open a page called Social. And I know this is the page that I use when I want to greet someone, when I want to ask them a social question, make a comment.
Hello. Hello.
And then I see what would they do? How would they respond to my greeting? And let's say they didn't respond. So I wait, I smile, I see, they're quite not sure. So now I'm going to model. I'm going to tell them, let's practice saying hello. So I'm gonna say, all right, we need to open our social page. And then I'm going to hold my finger. Hello. And I'm gonna do it again. So I'm modeling what I want them to do. I am showing them where to find the word that I want them to use. I typically also with new AAC users will label the folders. So I'll show you really quickly with this application that has lots of different words. We have a folder called groups. And look at how many different folders it has. So as I am working with AAC users and as I'm working with communication partners, you have to practice finding all these different words because look at how many different folders they're hidden in. If you are looking for the word head, you need to know that you need to go and navigate to the folder groups, and then you need to find your body parts, and then you're going to find the word head.
Head.
So it's a lot of navigation, and you really need to know where things are located. So take the time to model the words slowly, because if you need that extra time, it is probably the same time that the clients need to find out how to go through the different steps to navigate. So model slowly, label the folders if you're teaching the client the navigation, and wait for them to respond. So that is the strategy modeling. As I say the word hello, I teach the client where to find it on their AAC. And again, you can use it with any AAC supports, either holding this out and teaching the word eat, pointing to that and waiting for the client. So, I really want to eat. Let's go make snack to eat. So that is how you would model it. So say the word, point to the word as you say it, okay? And go slow, especially if you are a new communication partner and you have a new AAC user. And as you pick up things, then the conversation can be a lot more fluid and you can then go back and forth as clients become more proficient. You will see how quick they get that sometimes I'm like, oh boy, you found the word quicker than I did. And that can happen. And that's when you know that that client is starting to be really good with their AAC device. The next strategy is labeling. That's one that I teach parents early on, especially with my little kids. Or clients who are younger, that is a really, really good strategy. So what is labeling? Labeling means that you are labeling, you are naming what the client is doing, looking at, or using. Now you're going to label or name the action, what the client is looking at using simple words and focus on the core words. So if I see the client playing with Play-Doh, I will sit next to them and I will label what they're doing. I am going to find the word play, and then it has a modifier, so I know he's playing with a toy. I know that Play-Doh is in my toy folder, and I'm going to find Play-Doh. So I'm scanning slowly.
Play-Doh. Play-Doh.
Yeah, you play Play-Doh. And that is how I'm labeling what the client is doing. And I'm going to do it over and over because I am teaching them to label what they're doing. And eventually, I hope that the client can then communicate to me when I ask him, what do you want to play? The client can say, play Play-Doh. Then they can understand what that word means. They can understand that it means what they like to do, and that is a fun activity that they like. And then I can ask them, different things that they want to play. So focus on the core words. One of the core words that I teach is play, and then on the noun. Very quickly, clients will learn the nouns. So stick to the core words. I know sometimes it could be harder to teach, so you will have to be proactive and plan your sessions to allow lots of opportunities to model the core word that you're teaching and label what the client is doing, looking at, or using, and use core words. The next strategy is expect and pause. You will, when I train communication partners, they know that Mariana goes, wait. I tell parents, wait for them to respond and process the language. If we're modeling the same word over and over and over and over, give them the opportunity. Hold their AAC close to them, and you can give them an indirect cue like, I'm here. I want to hear what you want to tell me. I want to hear you. Use your device, or I'll tap the iPad, or I'll go like this. Give them an opportunity to understand that you are waiting for them to communicate to you. So it's really important to pause. And also keep in mind that if we're not allowing that pause, then it gets awkward. You know, you have that then silence, and then you don't want to break the conversation or break the communication. So what we tend to do is we tend to jump in and prompt again. So let's say I'm asking a friend, do you want to play? And they don't respond. So I wait 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds. I'll ask them again, do you want to play? And then I see, well, how did they respond? Did they say anything? If they do not respond, I will then hold my finger on the word that I want them to select. And I'll have them initiate. And then I will reinforce. That's right. Let's play. That's what we're doing. We are playing. What do you want to play? And then I wait for them to initiate. So allow that wait time to see if the client is going to pick up on your modeling, if they can find the word that you are targeting, and wait for them to initiate and select that word. Okay, so wait for them to communicate. Set up the environment, set up the game or the play, make it fun, be engaging, and wait for them to initiate communication with you. Allow that processing time. The next strategy is embed communication into daily routines. Set up situations during the day to allow the child or the client to use their AAC not only to request, but for other communicative functions, such as labeling. We also want them to be able to label the different things that they need. We want them to be able to tell us comments. I really like this. This is boring. That pizza was yucky. I don't like pepperoni. We want them to be able to ask questions. That includes social questions such as, what's up? How are you? How's it going? What are you going to do this weekend? We want to allow clients to ask those questions because that is how we communicate. When you see your significant other, when you come home, you say, hey, how was your day? How's it going? What do you want to eat for dinner? We ask those questions all the time. So we want to also have the AAC user and us as communication partners practice with them having them ask us questions and also respond to our questions. So you model the same 1 or 2 words that you are targeting within the routine. So over here, I have a visual of a song. A strategy that I use when I train communication partners is I will teach the same word with the song, and I will ask the parents to practice that song and make that one of the play routines that they do throughout their day. So if I am picking one of these songs, let's do 5 little monkeys jumping on the bed. I'm going to focus on the word jump. So again, I'm trying to focus on the action words, and I am going to model it over and over. So we're going to start singing the song, and as I say the word, I am going to model the word jump. So really quickly, I am going to look on my talker or my iPad, and I'm going to find the word jump. So it's an action word. So I'm going to navigate to the actions folder, and then I'm going to scan. So look at these. There's lots of different words. And here is the word jump. Now, once you selected it, you can also model it at the top because it will play the message. So once we find it, I might hit the message button several times versus keep navigating and finding it. So we're going to start singing the song. 5 little monkeys jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head, and so forth. So as we go to the next one, 4 little monkeys jumping on the bed. So that is a strategy to practice that word over and over. Our target word is jump, and our routine is we're singing a song, and we start with one word and we build on from there. Unless you have a client who's ready to do more, then definitely challenge them, but start small and practice and make it fun. And remember, it is not about progress. It is not about perfection. It's about progress. Make baby steps. And these are just a couple routines that you can embed language. You can embed it during your breakfast routine, while reading a book, while playing a fun activity like Play-Doh, during your bedtime routine. It's time to go to. I'm looking for the action words. I'm going to open my actions.
Sleep.
Oh, guess what?
Go to sleep.
It's time to go to sleep. Let's get ready. What do we need to get? Oh, we need to get dressed. We need to put on our pajamas. Yeah, we need to put our pajamas when we get dressed and get ready to go to sleep. And that is just one way of how you can model language during bedtime routine. Remember, just label what you are doing, looking at, and using. Model words. Point to the words as you say them. Wait for them to initiate communication. And communicate while you're doing the things that you love doing, and while you're doing the things that your client or your child is already doing. Do your routines and just focus on the core words. All right, let's hop in and talk about more strategies. So I wanted to leave you with a couple different ideas and different examples so that when you leave this presentation, you have at least one strategy and one idea of how to target that strategy to be a rocking AAC communication partner. So more strategies. Teach using repetition with variety. Use many activities that target the same core vocabulary in similar ways, but different functions. So I gave an example. What does that mean? Teaching with repetition and variety. We are going to find the word eat on the talker. Eat. And I'm going to model the phrase eat cookie. Let's say then we are feeding the bear pizza. We can model the word eat and then fill in pizza. Then we can model, let's give him some more. He wants to eat more. So that's a way to request recurrence, to request another one of those. Then we can say, I like to eat this. That's how you are working on the word eat, but you're using it as the function of comment. I really like it. So just an example too. Use variety, teaching the same word, allowing that repetition, but working on different functions. Go beyond just requesting, challenge yourself, and plan for sessions. And know that once you plan, clients will need that repetition. So take the extra step to think about how else can I model that word and make it fun and silly. Expand language. Once we've created that teachable moment, we want to take what the child has given us and use some strategies for advancing their language skills. So what that means is add one or more words to make the sentence more complex. If the child is saying things like eat pizza, you can model for him, yeah, you eat hot pizza. This pizza is hot. So you've added in an adjective and you've added in the pronoun I. If the word is no car, it can be expanded. I don't like this car, or I don't want to play with this car. So add a couple more words, again, one or two more to make it more complex and helping expand that language, teaching that client how to communicate with longer phrases or longer sentences. And the last strategy that I'm going to leave you with is presume competence. What that means is we don't want to assume anything. We know that good intervention, consistent modeling, and a lot of repetition will help the client improve their language skills. We know that if we use the strategies and we train our communication partners on how to expand language, if we focus on the core words, if we wait for them to respond, we know that their communication skills will improve. Everyone has something to say, and everyone can learn. Believe in that. All right, so let's talk about functions of communication. I know I shared a little bit about it throughout the presentation, but I wanted to have a slide where I talk about each one a little bit more. Remember, our goal as communication partners is to teach and to help the AAC learner to communicate their wants and needs with as much independence as possible. We want to allow communication to happen for a variety of reasons, not just requesting. So I'm actually going to start giving you a couple examples starting with other and ending with requesting. We walk around and we share different things with our communication partners. We share something that we want to show them. We share something that we've experienced. We share something that we ate. So we want to provide an opportunity for clients to share different news. So many times I will ask clients, what did you do this weekend? Or what are you going to do this weekend? We want them to share different information about things that they do because that tells our clients that people are interested in them. So that's important. Keep that in mind. We want them to be able to ask us questions. So that is one thing that I do when I have dyads, which means I have 2 AAC users who are using how to communicate with their AAC device or a low-tech board. We want them to be able to ask questions. So I always start with, how are you? What's up? How's it going? We want to give them an opportunity to ask questions from other people, not just respond. Because we ask a lot of questions throughout our day. That is how we communicate. That is how we start a conversation. Hey, what's up? There you go. You greeted and you asked the question right away. We want them to be able to direct our actions. Look, Mariana, look over here. We want them to be able to ask for things like, give me the glue. I need to glue something. We want them to be able to tell me, take this. I don't want this anymore. Stop it. We want them to be able to direct our actions, not just us directing their actions. We want them to be able to get the things that they want. I talked about commenting a little bit. So again, Focus on that. A lot of the vocabulary systems, such as TouchChat, have a whole social page where there is a commenting sections. So a client can say, I love it, great, oh, that was funny. You can say, oh my, or oh no. So model those comments and build them in natural environments and natural teaching opportunities. We also want to teach clients to protest. We want them to be able to tell me no. We want them to be able to say, I don't want it. We want them to be able to say, something's wrong, I don't like it. So after I teach clients to ask for their immediate needs, I teach clients to protest and request. It is important for them to have a way to tell you that they don't want to do something, or they don't like it, because if we don't like something, we have the ability to say it. So that's important to also teach. So if you are a good communication partner, focus on a variety of functions of communication. You have that handout, and in the resource section of my presentation, there are a lot of really good websites. And if you search functions of communication, it will show you tons of visuals and supports to learn a little bit more about that. But if you are a good communication partner, try to focus on a variety of functions of communication. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about how we run social groups for AAC users. So something that is very important for you to remember is targeting social interaction, that back and forth communication. Many times when I work on social interaction with clients, we start by initiating or responding to a greeting. It's easier to respond, and then you can learn how to initiate. It's easier to teach responding and then how to initiate the greeting. Allow that repetitive practice, and we start with just doing the social and hello. That is how I will get them to say hello to me. They will need to open the social page and find the button hello. If the client has learned that, then we're going to pair it and saying, hello, Mariana. Once they can do the word hi and pair it with my name, we can then expand their language and we can add in, hello, Mariana, how are you? Asking and practicing asking that social question. Therapists encourage clients to engage with each other using highly motivating activities. So we pick activities based on clients' interests. We have quite a bit of clients that need that movement break. So we will embed different ways for them to ask for a break, pick a movement, whether it's a swing or a slide or jumping or listening to a song, pick the movement activity that they need and embed that to keep their attention and engagement with us. We pick the target words and we embed the target words in the same routine. So we provide lots of opportunities to model the target words. Therapists use their device to model, or they use a low-tech core board, or they use a big blow up. So if we're working in group on the word help, every therapist will have a lanyard that they put on and they model that word over and over, giving that visual support. And typically then the group leader will model on the device. You set it up however it will best fit your clients. Visuals match clients' vocabulary. Many of the clients that I work with use TouchChat application for their communication. So the visuals that we have set up in group match the TouchChat visual. Think of it this way. If someone is telling you a word in French and you don't speak French, you will not be able to understand what that person is saying. That is the same as me trying to show client a visual of a picture that they don't recognize. I mean, these two hands don't mean anything to someone who is not reading the word. Well, what does that really mean? It is very abstract. So if I'm showing this to you, you're going to be like, well, Mariana, what is this? So what helps is having the word at the top. If you do have a client who's reading, he's understanding, well, every time Mariana's showing me this, she's trying to teach me to say help. I will show you now the visual on this talker. This one I think makes a little bit more sense, but again, look at how abstract this is. So I'm showing you the word help. Look at this. Very abstract. Well, what does that mean? So model that word over and over using the same visual that the client has and teach them the word. Teach them to understand what that means, that when they hit that button or when they express help or help, or when they take off that word and give it to me. If I'm doing more of like a PAX with the Velcro, then they know that they're asking me for help. That's how they can communicate that for me. So match the client's vocabulary as much as you can. And if you have, let's say you're doing a group or a dyad, means two people working together and two therapists. That's how we do it within the practice where I work. What you want to do then is use real pictures of the action. That isn't, so if I have users who have devices and also low tech or different language abilities, I will use real pictures. So if I know that in group we are going to be reading a book, I will take a picture of me holding a book or me reading a book, and then I will show that to every client. I say, hey, everybody, it is time for Mariana to read a book, and I will show the real picture. So very concrete. That's another thing to keep in mind. Try to keep things very clear and concrete. We don't want to confuse the clients. We're teaching them how to communicate with us. Clients will sit either next to each other or across each other. And the reason for that is we want them to look at each other as they are communicating and work on that eye contact, bringing their head up, looking at their peer and communicating what they want to communicate. So we will have them do the message on their device and then play the message and look at the person as they are playing and communicating the message for them. Group is set up with allowing us to target multiple functions of communication. And also we do lots of sabotage. Sabotage means setting up the environment to allow the client to communicate the word to you. So if we have 4 peers who are doing a craft, we will have one glue stick and we will give it to one peer. And what would that make all the other peers in the group do is ask for that glue so that they can do the activity. We can play a song and then stop the song and have the clients request more. And doing sabotage is maybe putting the iPad with the song or the toy with the song to one peer and then having the other peer ask them, can I play with it? Can you turn it on? Can we listen to it again? I like it. Let's do it. Let's do more. Let's listen to it. So having them interact with each other, setting up the environment to allow lots of practice. And another thing that we do in group is we think of activities that will allow turn taking so that our clients can socially interact with each other and play a game together, whether it's waiting for your turn and going through an obstacle course, or throwing a beach ball back and forth, asking, do you want to play ball with me? Saying, it is my turn. Also saying things like, it's not your turn, please wait. Using social comments, this is awesome, I really like playing with you, let's play again later. Giving them an opportunity to make comments like that and engage with each other as much as possible, because we know that if they practice with us in the group, then when they leave group, they have the skills, or they're learning the skills to interact with others using their AAC. So as a good communication partner, go ahead and address social interaction. That is an important skill that we need to work on with our clients. So what does a group look like? I wanted to give you just a quick schedule. Again, this is how we typically run a group for the clients that I work with, and we modify it to match the client's needs. So we always start with greeting. We want them to be able to say, hey, how are you? How is your day? How's it going? We want them to be able to initiate communication with us and greet us and know that we're here to see them and we're going to do something fun together. We will go over the schedule, and I will have a copy of our core words, the words that we are modeling for that day. It makes it easier also if you have other staff or if you're training parents. Everyone knows then what our focus words are, and everyone can model those words, because again, we pick a couple words to work on and we model it over and over and over, and you can pick the sequence that you want to have. I typically stick to the same words for a month because group is only once a week, so we really want that repetition. You can do word of the week. There are many different ways to address that, so you decide what works for you. After we talk about the schedule and we have the clients find the core words using their AAC system, so that was just one run through, then we'll do our first activity. So typically we do one stationary activity, which means it's at the table, and one activity that allows more interaction and movement. That is what the clients that I work with need. So again, this is just an example. You set up how you would like that. This was a picture that I found of an AAC group happening in the school, and there was actually 4 peers sitting and everyone was using their device, and that was really cool to see. So setup group, however, will meet your client's needs. The second activity will be an interactive game, so things like tossing the beach ball or sliding together or swinging together, allowing interaction to happen and doing a fun movement break. Then we'll come back and we will do more of explicit teaching of that vocabulary. So if I am teaching the words eat, maybe we can sort things that we eat and things that we don't eat. Maybe we can practice feeding. Maybe we can make a fruit salad. So teaching that target with multiple repetitions and doing another stationary activity for that explicit teaching of that word. What does that word mean and how to use it in a variety of different contexts and how to use it with different functions. Remember, do you like to eat this? Oh, we don't eat this. No, we don't eat, I don't know, pens. And modeling that and teaching that comprehension. And then we would end with another either movement break. I like doing dance movement breaks with clients. I give them a choice board of different songs or different activities that they can do or different yoga moves that we can do, and we will practice together. At the end of the group, we wrap up. We provide the clients that one last practice with the target word. We'd say, hey, next week we're still working on the word go. Everyone find the word go on your talker. And guess what? It is almost time to go home. What is it time for, everybody? Yes, that's right. It is time to go. Let's wrap up. And at the end, we will practice saying goodbye or even asking, what are you going to do today after group or after speech? What are you going to do tomorrow? So that is just an example of how we do group. And I also wanted to leave you thinking a little bit more of to be a rocking AAC communication partner, we really have to presume competence. We have to understand that if we teach and we use the strategies with our clients, they are going to communicate with us. And I'm going to leave you with this quote. Presuming that a nonverbal child has nothing to say is like presuming that an adult without a car has nowhere to go. So we always want to presume that this child, this client wants to communicate to me. Use the strategies, focus on the core words, take it slow, repeat, 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 and you will see that client, you will see that child blossom and communicate with you. Here are a couple resources that I use to find handouts when I train communication partners, to learn more information about AAC, Augmentative Alternative Communication. I hope you walk away with that. And I use AAC Institute for different supports. And I also use Saltilla quite a bit because a lot of the clients that I work with use the touch chat application on their iPad. So this is my iPad and this is how that application looks like. It is called Touch Chat and it has quite a bit of different vocabulary set up. So Touch Chat is made by Saltillo and they do have an implementation folder, and I use that quite a bit to do different materials. So just a couple of resources for you. And I want to thank you for sticking with me through this presentation. I hope that you walked away with a couple strategies of how to be a rocking communication partner. My name is Mariana Polishuk. I'm a pediatric speech language pathologist. And go ahead and feel free to reach out to me. This is my personal email. You can send me different feedback or ask a question about the presentation. You will have a copy of the slides, and let's all be rocking AAC communication partners. Thank you, everybody.